All right, Jeffrey Epstein. Lots going on. Laura Loomer is now attacking Charlie Kirk. There's still the questions of why the number one and number two at the FBI are at war with the Attorney General when they seem to have agreed on the course to pursue. Talk about all that internecine stuff in a moment. The president's efforts to tamp this down don't seem to be working. Widely expected he'll try to change the subject today or this week, and hope, as Sean suggested earlier, that it will burn out. Here's a pretty critical thing we'll get to, right? Why are they doing what they're doing? And there's all sorts of conspiracy theories. The president's protecting himself. He's protecting his friends. He's protecting Mossad. Here's Ken Delanian on Morning Joe this morning, who covers the Justice Department, giving what I think is the most likely explanation for what's happening. Number 106, please.
And to answer your question, Joe, there are lots of files. There is no client list. And by the way, we've been reporting that for years. People who've covered this investigation, Tom Winter in New York, has been told that by investigators. What's in the files are a lot of pictures of victims, a lot of grand jury information, a lot of unfounded allegations that career prosecutors and FBI agents cannot in good conscience recommend be released. And I want to underline.
Okay, so Dan, if that's what's in the files, shouldn't they just come out and say what Ken Delanian said and say there's no conspiracy here? It's just there's not anything in there that's releasable.
Sure, and then all the people on the right have to say, and we were wrong the last several years. I mean, that's the challenge. Is they use this to their advantage to hype it. They promise to get to the bottom of it. Now you would need to come out and say, just as he said, there is nothing. I think you then still have to release, I mean, always err on the side of transparency. But I think where they're making a huge mistake is they're trying to tell people now this is stupid and you're wrong to keep asking about it. And that is not a good place to be telling your own voters, like, you know, go pound sand and buzz off. When for 10 years, you fed them the fuel almost daily.
John.
So everything that I've heard matches what Ken Delanian said in that piece about what they actually have as information, whether you believe that or not. But I'll just say that everything that I have heard is exactly consistent with what Ken said.
And just to be clear, you won't read that in the Washington Post, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, or the New York Post today inexplicably. I don't understand why.
So the issue, again, I talked to a lot of people this weekend after our conversation on Friday, just to try to really get an understanding of why people were pissed, what they were pissed at. I mean, kind of to the discussion that we had last week with that young man. And what this really seems to come down to, from my understanding, is that there was general agreement that, okay, here's how we're going to push forward on this. And what happened is that no one took into consideration, not no one took into consideration, but that there is this fact that Bondi went out and from every account, when she released those binders during that influencer event earlier this year, created an expectation, one, that the binders actually had something in them in the first place that day that they were handed out. And then there was a file or a piece of paper in them that said part 2 coming soon. And there had been an expectation that they had a bunch of stuff, they were getting it, which basically everything in those binders, a lot of the people that I talked to felt like it was getting the wool pulled over their eyes, that this was an attempt to make it look like there was something a lot more that there was. So that happened, and every single person that I talked to, bar none, said that that was DOJ freelancing, that had not been approved, that no one knew that that was going to happen. They've created this issue with the binders, and then coupled that with the Fox interview with John Roberts, where I get what Pam is saying now, but there was an attempt. So now you've got Cash and Bongino in particular, who've talked about a list, who've talked about all this stuff, buying into, okay, we all reviewed it, nothing is there. And then they feel like, but Bondi gave everybody the impression that there is one, and now we're left holding the bag. And that's part of the problem, is that what a lot of the big people that I'm talking to in the movement who are complaining are saying, comes down to the fact that she goaded us to believing that there was more. She knew that there wasn't. And now that's why we're upset with her.
That matches my reporting exactly. Dan.
But here's the thing, though. You got to step back and just start with the fact that the DOJ held an event with social media influencers on a conspiracy theory. Start with that you know what crazy fact. That is a total political stunt, of which the movement has lots of political stunts. Why are Kash Patel and Bongino in bad spots? Because they literally for a decade have gone on podcasts about how this is a democratic deep state, thing to destroy the Republican Party, and they're protecting the rich and all of this stuff. Total conspiracy theories, now it sounds like. So I have no sympathy for the movement that they're now like, oh, it turns out there was nothing here. I can't believe people are making a big deal of this.
Yeah, right. But Dan, I think though, and again, I get your point. I think that the nuance here is that after reviewing the material, and I'm not just
after getting facts. Yeah, no, I get it.
Then Bongino and Kash were like, fine, we'll fall on the sword. We'll say because we reviewed it now and we realized that what there is unreleasable for a myriad of reasons, exactly what Ken Delanian said, right? So we're willing to do this. And then you got Bondi who goes out and does this and says, yeah, I know there's nothing there, but I'm going to let everyone believe that there still is. And that undermined how do you fall on your sword then? And Bongino's like, you guys made me go out there, walk the plank, and then you let them still think that there's something there. I look like now I can't even fall on my sword appropriately.
Right. So there's some talk today, both from people in the administration and outside supporters, that the way out of this is a special counsel. To look at the whole thing. That seems to me to be foolhardy for 1,000 reasons. But Dan, if the president decided that was a good idea, who or what kind of person would be good for that job?
Well, then rule number one with special counsels is you want to try to control it as best you can. The problem is once you open the door to a special counsel,
yes,
they start sniffing around.
Yeah.
You
although this is not, in theory, this is not a special counsel looking to indict people. This is a special counsel looking to write a report, right? It would be.
Yeah, listen.
But it doesn't matter, though.
Ask Ken Starr what his original mission was.
Well,
exactly.
No, that's factually, it's a glib and humorous line, but it's factually not true.
What do you mean? He went fishing in all different places.
Yeah, but he wasn't. But he wasn't hired to write a report. He was hired to do a criminal investigation.
I get it. To look into a land deal in Arkansas. Am I?
Right. I mean,
that's what I've been told is this is not a special counsel to bring indictments. It's a special counsel to analyze the documents.
And my point is that I'll revise Dan's rule. Rule 1 on a special counsel is never support a special counsel.
Yeah, well, that's why I think it's a bad idea. But my question is, if they go that route, throw out in it like John Ashcroft, like who?
So who is Trump's personal attorney these days? Whoever that is, that's sort of going to be the special counsel.
Who's got enough confidence of MAGA that if they said nothing to see here, they'd believe it? Alina?
Yeah, maybe.
Who has enough?
But MAGA's got to trust.
But remember, Mark, part of the problem is that now as I said, the problem is that then they're going to say, great, why'd you hand us binders that said this? Why'd you go on Fox?
Yeah. No, I know.
Well, but I think the other thing is what are they suspicious of? Powerful people are being protected, that the machine is that the rich and so if you're going to appoint a special counsel and you're going to try to get everything out there, then won't you? I mean, this is where I think you get nervous. Then you're going to start doing depositions of rich and powerful people potentially.
There's not going to be any of that. Nobody's.
So that's going to be enough then?
Nobody's going to do that.
Want more great clips like that? I've got an idea. Hit the subscribe button, be part of the two-way community, never miss a clip, and you can always watch our full episodes, join them live, go to twoway.tv.